And we love Hayden being here from Underdog Fantasy Football. This is just a reminder that you can use promo code TFW for up to $100 in matched money from Underdog. I think it comes right from Hayden's pocket, so he will match your money. Yeah, $100 right from his paycheck if you use the promo code TFW. And a big announcement, we are launching Best Ball Brunch this Saturday on the TFW channel. And one of those is Elijah Mitchell. And I chose him because he's been such a polarizing person, both in managed, best ball, whatever. And that backfield, obviously, we talked a little bit about Shanahan and that stuff. Yeah, he called Mitchell a speed back, a shoe-in to be the lead back. We look at San Fran's offense, Hayden. They've been top 12 in rushing attempts and top 10 in running plays over 15 yards in 3 of the last 5 seasons. Mitchell himself was 4th in runs over 10 plus yards last year. We know he's a risk to seed like passing game work to and maybe because of Trey Lance too, that's an issue. But is his must-draft status for you basically a bet on his talent as a pure rusher or the scheme or both?
I think it is both. I think that he's a perfect fit in it, and that's why I think Trey Sermon ultimately kind of busted. Is Shanahan likes the speed, and I think that is especially going to be the case with Trey Lance back there. I just think if you look at his stats from last year, like you said, he's just such an explosive rusher. This is what this offense does historically. If you look at last year's per game numbers, he was equivalent to 32nd overall in my metrics, and he's going in the 6th round against some other running backs like Antonio Gibson, Josh Jacobs, who I just can't project for as many explosive plays. I'm not projecting him for passing downs, but I don't think there's anything about Elijah Mitchell's game where we should just say he'll never do that. There's even a little upside that he could develop into that role. And I think the thing that's making Elijah Mitchell a good value right now is everyone's so scared of the Kyle Shanahan history with running backs. But if you look at it, they've just been getting injured. And I think that's just a lot of injury, bad luck. And Elijah Mitchell was very good last year. And like the Alfred Morris years, there was a couple years with Devonta Freeman where it's like back-to-back seasons. They do go to them if they can stay healthy. So I'm not sure if I'm ready to say that Elijah Mitchell is like more prone to injuries just because he's attached to Kyle Shanahan. I don't know if they're feeding him the wrong things or whatever, but I'm not willing to go there. So I'm just going to ride this thing out. I know the offense is going to be good because it always is. And I'm pretty positive that Elijah Mitchell is good himself.
It's that system is very harsh on running backs because of the type of cuts they have to make, and then again, generally when you talk about speed and running backs, they're on the lighter end of that, and so we always talk about how running the ball is like a car accident, right? When they're getting hit, so it does kind of make sense that a lot of these running backs do end up getting banged up and injured often because you're compounding it with 2 very vicious kind of football players. But yeah, Elijah Mitchell is very fun to watch and very electric when he gets the ball and when he's on the field.
Yeah, I also think to your point, Hayden, we saw them try to make Mostert the thing. He just couldn't stay healthy. So they were still, though, returning back. Like last year, even with the Sermon stuff where we got fooled, Mostert took the first snap. Like Mostert walked out there before he got hurt.
And then he got injured on the second snap.
So you just hope that we get a little bit more durability out of.
He did bulk
Mitchell
up a little bit, and he is a little bit bigger than Raheem Mostert in general. So they're developing a plan, and so maybe there is something to the system that makes it that way. But I think going back to the best ball versus your redraft league is like in best ball, you got to come in first out of hundreds of thousands of people. So you got to be mega right in your home league. If you miss on your 6th pick, that does stink. Maybe you want a little bit more safety, but I think in best ball, especially half PPR, I think Elijah Mitchell kind of checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, and I think the reason I wanted to bring up those 10-plus yards, 15-plus yards in the system, kind of that best ball notion, it's like he may not get pass catching. Maybe he doesn't get goal line. Maybe they give that to TDP or Sermon or Blance. But he's going to have big plays. And in best ball, that's a good thing. So we'll move on. But to move from a positive to a negative here, Hayden, you're throwing shade at everybody's boy here, Breece Hall, and saying he's part of your 10 players to avoid. I'll let people go and read it on the site here, but is this purely just an ADP play based on the guys that are going around him?
Yeah, I just think it's ADP, and I have nothing against Breece Hall. I thought maybe Ken Walker's a little bit better of a rusher, but Breece Hall had a great profile. My metrics liked him. I thought he was a good player by himself. The offensive line is better than it is in Seattle, all that stuff. At the end of the day, the Jets are projected for 5.5 wins this year, and they're going to use a committee, and Michael Carter, I think, is pretty good. So a lot of things have to go right for him to be pay off a 4th round ADP. I think what's going to happen is probably going to be like a flex play to start the season, then kind of develop into an RB2. There's a lot of players going right next to him where I think you're just going to have RB2 production the entire time. So this is more of a bet against Zach Wilson more than anything. And if Breece Hall was a 5th round pick, 6th round pick, he would be nowhere near this. I just thought it was a little unfair that Kenneth Walker goes 110th overall and Breece Hall goes 40th overall when they were drafted 4 or 5 picks apart in the actual NFL draft.
That's a good point there. Right here. You made it to the end of the video. Our algorithm overlords tell us you need to subscribe now.